Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. I'm your hosting guide, Zollin Ironshield, here on Voice of the Rings. And today we're going to be watching the fifth episode, right? Fifth episode, this should be the title, of the Amazon Rings of Power series. We'll have some fun today. You guys will be able to time and match it up with me right here when I have it. Hello, welcome to the stream. Welcome, guys. As you know from the last time I watched, I have made my official first review. I have not put it out yet at the time of the stream for episode 1. I know it's a little bit delayed, but it's a real big breakdown of starting with episode 1. And I also in that episode have timestamps showing you guys basically the beginning is me talking about how I'm going to approach the review. Okay, for the Rings of Power series and some stuff. So we'll have fun with that. I'm really looking forward to this episode. I'm hoping a couple of people have said it's a lot better than the previous episode. I was slightly disappointed with last episode for a few reasons, but there's still some stuff I liked. Again, I'm really hoping to see some more singing of Tom Bombadil besides like in the credits from like last episode. So I'd like to see that and how they show that, and hopefully maybe a little bit more jolly Tom. Oh, Tom Bombadil, Tom Bombadillo. I'd like to see a little bit more singing, just a little bit more, instead of just a little tiny hum here and there. So that'll be fun. That's one thing I'm really looking forward to this episode. That's what I'm hoping to see in this episode. All right. And then it'd be cool if we saw Goldberry or whatever too. Cool, awesome. But we'll see. Anyway, we're gonna have fun either way, and yes, I will do a little bit of talking during it. So I'm just assuming that a lot of people who have already watched it right when it came out, yesterday or whatever, comes out on the evening, at least my time. It comes around like midnight on, the beginning of Thursday, right? Midnight, this Wednesday night, midnight, right, is normally when it comes out. So I give everyone a whole, 30 hours to watch it ahead of time if you want to watch it. Again, I'm not going to be talking the whole time, of course. But like last time, like last stream, party. So I can talk with you guys and kind of say stuff occasionally and here and there. New subscriber, but love the collection room. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Chuckles. Thank you. Chuckle Seed, that's a good name. A review like a wizard is never late. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Lala. Exactly. There you go. My review is never late. It arrives precisely when I meant to make it. And I have to be in the mood to make my reviews too, and I felt really in the mood yesterday after I had a nice afternoon lunch with my family. I was like, all right, I'm sitting down and I'm making my first review. And basically I have a little intro on how I'm approaching the reviews, how I want to work on them, because I really want to do my reviews in a way that's I really want the reviews to feel, I want them to be authentic, and I want to be really honest reviews on the trailers. But I also am trying to do it in a way that's everyone can kind of enjoy the review, right? No matter whether you really, like it or really don't like it or whatever. I'm just trying to break it down with lore points and things like that. So I cover a lot of that. So I talk about a little bit how I'm going to break it down, because that's going to be for all the episodes. And then every episode I'm going to make a review on. So pretty much, but first episode is done. So I will have that out probably sometime in the next few days. We're doing a bunch of streams this weekend, though. So we have this stream today, the watch party, and then we have, I hear a little background sound, coming from something. Oh, I know what it is. It's actually in the other room. I'm like, I think someone turned on my stream. One of my family members is over there. What's up? At minute, aren't you the target demographic? Why are they dropping it? I don't know. Lala. That's a good point. I'm not sure. Now, remember, I'm not in Europe, so maybe they're trying to get it in Europe, too. There's a couple, reasons. Maybe they're trying to, the first day they want the statistical data to be as many people as possible. Maybe they want to spread out the bandwidth time of people watching it, so they're hoping some people watch it right when it comes out at midnight, where everyone else will watch it the rest of the day. I don't know. I mean, I'd assume they're kind of, you know, it's not just North America. They're also kind of shooting for Europe, right, to watch it. So that maybe that's why. But seems, I mean, that would make sense, I guess, if it was for both too. I don't know. So I'm on the West Coast. So for so it's midnight my time. It's like what on the East Coast? It's even later. It's like 2 a.m. or something. Sorry, it would be 3 a.m. For the time difference. What's up, Elvin? What's up? All right. Well, how are we doing on time here? Okay, it's 11. I want to give everyone 5 minutes before we start the actual like timer and video because I started early. So for those of you here, you get time to talk with me early on everything. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see with this episode today. Again, I've had a couple people say they liked this one a lot more than the previous one. So I am, I'll have some optimism there. But yeah, so I made my first review for the first episode. And then I will be making more reviews and releasing those over this next week, slowly. And then we're going to be doing today's stream. And then later today I have another stream and we'll be doing Lord of the Rings Online with our Kinship. And then tomorrow we'll be doing a big open party for Return to Moria. All right. And then we will be doing, tomorrow night we'll be doing another Kinship, but this is a 150 event in Lord of the Rings Online. And then we'll be doing a big event party on Sunday because that's when most people can show up. And it'll be our 9,000 subscriber live stream party. So that'll be fun. Thank you, by the way, everyone, for your support and for us hitting 9,000 subscribers. And the best part is we hit that like 2 days ago. And we're already at like, I think we're way past that now. Yeah, we already have 40 more people who've joined past 9,000. So you guys are the best. So thank you. Like and subscribe if you would to help support the channel. It'd be the best. We do Lord of the Rings stuff here, and, you know, you're having fun, I'm having fun. Those are the goals. And lots of Lord of the Rings fun stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I will give, I give kind of like, I'll give a couple different, like, scores. Like, I think I mentioned a score for last episode, last live stream. Like, my first, like, thoughts score. And then I will give one, like, of every review. I usually mention it. And then I'll do an overall score for this season. I may have been a little generous to season 1. Because there's a couple things I liked in season 1. I forget if I gave it, like, a 6.5. I don't remember what I gave. I have to go back and look. But there's definitely, like, I think I was generous on certain things. But again, I like to look at things kind of glass half full, right? And I think the biggest thing for me with Rings of Power, Amazon series, is that I kind of see as a Tolkien, really big Tolkien fan, and what the rights they did have to, I see what it could have been with season 1, let's say, because season 2 I'm not really giving is actually as much intense scrutiny with lore, because they've already like messed with the lore so much in season 1 with their own made up fan fiction plot lines, which again, some of them are enjoyable, but some of them are like, I would have liked the original. And it's like, I think or they've done so much of that already. I'm not really worried in season 2 because I'm like, well, they can't change it. They're pigeonholed into what they're doing now, right? So I'm like being a little more lenient with like just watching it as I'm just gonna have fun. We're gonna review it. That's in my mind, right? I'm like, I'm not gonna keep being upset every time I realize there's a lore change. It's like, at this point, it's not worth it to any of us. It doesn't to be stressed over it. It doesn't affect the original Tolkien lore anyway. So yeah, that kind of stuff. He just noticed the One Piece. Nice. It's a little bit leaning there. I'm not sure it's I think I just have it set up there, so I need to check it doesn't fall down. Yes, tickle seed. Yeah, no, it's true. It's so funny because people who watch Rings of Power, I've seen such mixed reviews with people who never don't know anything about the original lore. Like, some people are like, oh, I like it. And some people are just like, what is this? Like Elvin just wrote. Like, they don't like it, even from just a fantasy perspective, right? But, like, because it's funny, because I feel like maybe, like, did they write different episodes, different people? Is that a thing? I didn't even look into it. I didn't really care too much to look into that. But because sometimes it does feel like one episode will flow really good, and the next episode will feel like a different pacing entirely. And that feels a little weird to me sometimes, but I don't know. All right, should we, let's go ahead. We have 10 people here, and welcome to everybody. Thank you so much for attending. I know the Rings of Power isn't for anyone. I mean, for everyone, I should say. Sounds like I made a bad pun meme there, but no, I meant for everyone. But again, I'm over here. We're just gonna have fun watching this today, and I'm just gonna enjoy what I can enjoy. And I enjoy the conversation of picking things apart, personally. Whether it be like, oh, this is good, I like this part, or oh, I don't like this because of this reason. I enjoy that conversation. I think that's fun. I kind of wish more people could just have these conversations, to, like, you know, instead of just being like really, really frustrated about it, or really, really like, oh, it's perfect, how could you hate anything? It's like, I kind of like the whole, like, picking it apart. Like, even for example, like the Hobbit trilogy, I'm a big fan of the Hobbit trilogy. I think they're amazing, but some people don't like them as much, right? And it's like, that's a valid. Everyone's opinions are valid, okay? But it's funny because I like to tell people, what do you not like about the Hobbit, right? Or what do you like, right? I tell people, like, give me specifics on, I want to hear what your reasoning is, right? And a lot of my friends, they don't have a good reason. They're like, I don't know, I just don't like it. I'm like, well, that's not a good reason to not like it. But I had one or two who I finally, like, drilled enough. They were like, okay, I'll think about it. And then they gave me answers. They're like, I didn't like the whole Legolas jumping on rock thing. I'm like, okay, all right, that's fair. You know, that kind of stuff. You know, oh, too much CGI with the orcs. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's good. So I have fun. I like the breakdown of talk on things, right? And again, I still think people having, you know, everyone having their own opinions on whatever they like or dislike about something, totally valid. Everyone's opinions are valid. I just get frustrated when people try to push it on other people, right? They're like, it's horrible, how could you like it? Or, it's the best thing ever, how could you dislike it, right? And they, like, guilt trip other people. It's like, you know what? Don't do that. Stop it. Stop it. Just let everybody have fun. Just let them watch it. Let them totally ignore it if they want to. Whatever they want to do, that's great, right? Don't guilt trip them if they don't watch it because they don't feel like they watch it. Don't guilt trip them like, oh, you should watch it. It's like, you can say, oh, I think it was good. Maybe you want to check it out. You know, that kind of thing's fine. But, like, you know what I'm talking about, guilt trip. Everyone, you guys know what. I don't need to go into that. All right, let's go ahead and start the video here. So if everyone has it up on their screen or their other thing, or you have me on your phone or whatever you want to do to make it easier, I will have the timer here. If there is a commercial, which, again, my thing says there will be one commercial in the whole thing, which still drives me crazy that if I'm paying for Prime, shouldn't I get no commercials? But anyway, that's a classic. That's not just Amazon. That's so many things now. They're like, you have to pay more if you don't want commercials now. It's like, whoa. Freudian slip. Elvin, yeah. It's because... romance saga between an elf and a dwarf. The Dune worms. Oh, Dune. I actually like Dune a lot. Did you guys like Dune? I thought it was good. My family members, some of them were saying it was just too much the whole time with sound, and I'm like, that's a fair criticism. I thought the second Dune had a lot of loud sounds the whole time, but I don't know. I thought it was good. Yeah. Orcs not wanting war. Yes, there's a lot of issues there. Don't worry, Elvin. I pointed some of those out in my review. All right, you are ready. Okay, here we go, guys. We're gonna start it up. All right, the timer's gonna start. All right, ready? Just sync it up. You can refresh the live if you want to make sure, refresh the stream. But here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, here we go. And again, I cannot share audio on my end. I'm not going to not going to skip the recap, just so everybody knows. I think he made himself planned. I think he wants to threaten the guy. I still don't know why. I still feel like the eagle is like, guys, I wasn't here for him. What's going on? I still don't like that he wrote that he... I still don't like that he writes a letter to lie to him. I think that's not Celebrimbor, but... I like that Durin doesn't trust the ring thing at all, though. And I know that they've added in that the rings have the ability, right, to give, like, the essence. But I still think it's weird that now, like, they needed to save their mountain. The mountain's alive, too. They're adding a whole lot of, like, things are alive in Middle-earth that really aren't in the original story. So, like, there's an elf force essence tied to the trees for the elves. And the dwarves are, like, tied to the mountain, and the mountain's alive. I don't know how I feel about all that. Yeah, the Durin actor is nice. And again, I'm not going to skip the intro or anything. Just so the time matchup is fine. I think this intro looks cool, though. By the way, the music in Season 2 has been far better. Like the soundtrack. It could also be the balancing of it. I notice it more. My biggest thing, at least with Season 1 for me, is that I really do think it could have been so much better. So it's not that I'm like, whether I like or dislike things in it. It's like, I kind of know, like, feel like what it could have been. And I think that's probably what makes me the most disappointed sometimes. Even though there's still some good points, but I feel like I have to look for the good points. And I that's kind of like, I'm a real positive guy, so I'm having to look for the good points. Yeah. I have been watching it, yeah. For the individual episodes, I've been watching it every week, so you're welcome to watch it with us. Though, if you want to watch it before our thing, that's fine, too. In case I occasionally say something during it. So, that's totally up to you. Some people like to talk a little bit during movies, I know. Some people hate that. I get that. Like, I have some family where we watch a movie and we're not talking. Which is totally fine. But since this is my stream, party. Alright, we get some awesome mountain shots. Ooh. Oh, very pretty. Okay. Oh, are these the Dwarven rings? The gem looks cool. Disembodied voices whispering again. Okay. I still don't like it that the rings have. Okay, none of the rings have voices, guys. None of them, except for the one ring, because it has the Soul of Sauron. The rest don't have that. That's Rings of Power. We won't worry about it. I'll live shortly to be well. I'm glad we're seeing dwarves again, though, because they've been the highlight of the whole series for me. Dwarves make everything better, guys. Hobbits make everything worse. Oh, I mean, what? No, sorry, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's a bad pun. Ring number 4. That's a serious. What I want to know is, that is a serious pickaxe if he swings it one time and it starts going in. So he found a passage that has light from the mirrors. Okay. I mean, it's a cool. So, as a fan fiction point, can I just point out, it is cool. It's a cool idea that the rings are like helping say, yeah. We had a Zelruka clan member there. Ooh, we got some epic music. That was good. That whole part was good. Oh. That's cool. That's kind of cool. Sauron being there, though, is a little weird. For the carving of the gate. I don't think he had anything to do with that or even was around. But Narvi and Celebrimbor were the ones that... So that's supposed to be Narvi. That's kind of cool. That whole part was good. That was good. We have some good... Some gems there out of the series that I have been needing desperately. It's dark. Is it look dark to you guys? Oh, it's just a LaCroix. It's a watermelon flavored mineral water, bubble water, whatever you want to call it. I call it bubble waters. Gotta have a nice drink when you're relaxing, right? We're hanging out. Snacks. I already ate my breakfast. Oh, interesting. So he's seeing through him. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Okay, I like this little dialogue. Yep, it's men's fault. Always men's fault. It's a great place. I like that. He's like, but the dwarves, they're cool, man. Oh, nice. Delicious soda water. I like it. It's kind of weird that he's like bolstering the humans, like, oh, look how great they are. It's a little weird for Sauron to be doing that. But I guess that's more for us as the viewers for the TV show. You know, that's what I guess. Now remember, the 9 rings... Okay. Interesting. Oh, Celebrimbor. Hey. Oh! All right. I shall make the 9 myself, he says. All right. Ooh, that's a great shot of Numenor, though. I guess that was supposed to be... That was not supposed to be Numenor. That was supposed to be... Or was it? Oh, I like this. This is how they were acting in Numenor when they started wanting envy of the immortality. Wow. Alfarison's getting evil. I like it. That was also good. That was also... Well, so compared to the original lore, that was a little bit tied in the original lore there. A little seed. All right, he saw something. Hmm. Looks up at the chart. Yeah, they're really compressing the timeline. I do agree. Like, this shouldn't... Okay, commercial. Pausing. Yeah, I'm a little bit... The timeline compression is, like, crazy. Also, is that just... I keep hearing the Lord of the Rings, my LOTRO background music playing. And do you guys hear that, or is that just me? All right, here we go. And boop, restarting the... Here, I'm going to restart the timer, and there. We're synced up again. Yeah, this idea that, like, we're already going to attack the Valar is so way later. So the timeline compression is crazy. Oh. Oh, get her, Dad. We knew this was going to happen. They were hinting that this was going to be a whole thing between the father and son. Because remember, she's kind of a made-up character. And also, it still bothers me that Elendil is like just this random dude. When in reality, he was a royalty from what I remember the original lore. So it's kind of a weird twist. I don't know, I mean, I kind of like that fight. They're like, yeah, screw you, bad guy. Who your friends are. Good for him. Good for him. All the ladies out there are like, yeah, she's not good for you, man. Right? Right? A fair son is instantly evil. The dwarves are instantly corrupted by the rings. See, but the rings should never... So so dwarves don't really get corrupted by the rings. That's the whole thing in the lore. They get a little greedy, but it doesn't corrupt them in that way. Like the One Ring does to Frodo. Corruption, and like the rings do to the humans. So it is weird how it's instantaneous and how they're like... Alfarazon, I liked him in Season 1 a lot, how they put him. And I like what he said here, but I feel like it should have been a lot later. Okay. Why would you lie, Celebrimbor? I bet when the men get the rings, Nazgul 1 hour. I don't like that I don't think he'd lie like that, Celebrimbor. I don't like that at all. What is it, food? I should say the canon. Tolkien is canon. This is a fun fan fiction. Sometimes not as fun. Uh-oh. Dead fish. Elrond's running. Yeah, and there shouldn't be two Durans at once, but that's okay. Oh, now it's the taxes, guys. Alligator baby. So it's just rolling away, huh? What is this entire plot point going to be? It leads her to the corruption that's happening. I'm gonna eye roll if that's if I just nail it. Yeah, she's just some random crack in the earth, and she's gonna find some corruption. Oh, it'll be the Balrog. Maybe she's gonna see the Balrog. That would be. The Balrog shouldn't be here for another thousands and thousands of years. He's still sleeping. Oh wow, she found an entire underground cavern that somehow no one had found from something you just walk into, huh? Now that would be kind of cool. Super echolocation. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I actually that was a little bit cool, even though she's loud. Uh-oh. She woke up the Balrog. It's her fault. Guys, that's what's going to happen, right? Wait, not Sarah. Oh! Oh, they actually have all the Dwarven clans. This is what I said they should do. I actually think the dwarves are probably the best done out of everything in this series. They follow the lore, the canon the best. So these are all the leaders of the 7 dwarven clans. Ominous music playing. Comes with a price. What do they gotta like? Are they gonna compress the timeline 3,000 years and have them wait the Balrog like? Oh, now they're gonna do the classic Bilbo moment. Why are they? See, okay, this is totally wrong. Okay, they're trying to play off the whole Bilbo thing, right, with the One Ring in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So they're like, again, playing off the trilogy movies. The Dwarven rings did not have the soul of Sauron in them. And I know they were all corrupted to an extent, but it wasn't like they would have them talking to you. That was the One Ring had Sauron's soul inside it. He just corrupted the other ones. He didn't have his soul inside them. So this is a fan fiction edition, right, for the Rings of Power. And I don't know. I don't think I like it. All right, so Disa did here. They didn't know about... Oh, I'm in pain. I'm in pain for that one, guys. They did not know the Balrog was there when they were digging, okay? The Lord of the Rings trilogy movies, one thing bad in them made it sound like they dug greedily and too deep. So they're playing off that, right, for the Rings of Power series. But they didn't know that there was a Balrog down there. They didn't have any pre-warning. They just broke into a cavern and, hello, Mr. Balrog. And they're like, ah, crap, right? So now the ring, the Dwarven ring is working with the Balrog? Is that what we're hinting here at? That it's like, yeah, dig, guys. Dig right there. Keep on digging. Is that what's going on? Like, is that what they're hinting at? That the ring is working with him? Like the Balrog, trying to get him to dig him out? Yeah, that's ridiculous. But, I mean, I guess in their made-up fan fiction, since the Balrog helped make the Mithril must be corrupted now, guys. All the more reason why that whole idea that the Balrog helped make the Mithril is ridiculous. Oh, what's this? Okay, so... So now we got ghosts, guys. What is happening right now? How... I don't think... Can an elf... Maybe the elf would get affected like that? Beginning of this episode was pretty good, but we'll see what the rest is. Oh, she's saying she saw Sauron. They make 7 rings. The doors are door. 9 rings. Celebrimbor sends a ladder. They call 7 dwarf clans. All the time it takes Elrond to run back to Lindon. Yeah, that does seem really weird. Oh, I agree. That's a little... Yeah, they're just all over the place with the time and pacing. This episode is 100% better than number 4, though. 4 was super disappointing for me. This has been way more entertaining as a fan fiction, guys. I must point that out. I do agree with Nathan on that. Far more entertaining. Good job, Celebrimbor. Now that is true. They did get greedier to an extent. That's a canon point. Ooh, good for Durin. Eerie music. Very eerie indeed, everyone. He's gonna knock her off. He's gonna be like, dead. He can't tell anyone now. Evil Sauron. Scary! What a liar, man. He's like, that guy you saw, Sauron? It's actually Celebrimbor. Well, that was easy. Sauron's like, that was... Sucker! Oh, gross. That's not a compliment for Rings of Power. Just kidding. It would be for the Lord of the Rings version. Well, or maybe just don't mention her personality. Maybe it's a compliment if you don't mess it. Just no anger. All right, they're having some kind of. Again, it's very dark. It's very hard to see things. I feel like in this series, it feels like it's like everything's really fast, and then it's really slow, and then it's really fast, and lots of stuff happens. Like we were just saying, way too many things in a timeline, and then it's really slow, and you're like, what's going on? It's like whenever they show real lore canon, it's like pushed really fast, and then they do like their stuff. So this is condensed, but I mean, I don't know about a shrine, but this definitely happened with them. Wow. Here's where his mom prostified. He gets owned by Elendil. Lala, you're pretty like Galadriel, but way nicer. I don't think that kid would be able to hold down the other guy. Yeah, I don't think so. I can understand if it was two other guys helping him. Okay, thank goodness, because that would have been ridiculous. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, don't become like them. Except you probably should have stabbed him. And the kid stabbed him. Yeah, should have stabbed him. This is where Elendil's gonna kill him now, right? That's what we want to see. If it's a fan fiction, might as well just stick with it. Hmm. Wow. Should have stabbed him. Should have stabbed the evil kid. Did you alter the Dwarven rings? He asks. Yeah, I do think Sauron was probably more devious on how he lied than this blatant, just straight up lies. Seems a little too disingenuous. What's up, Phil? Welcome to the stream. Invoker says you look like episode 1 Sherlock Holmes season studying in pink episode cab driver. Yes. It's basically what's going on right now. This is what... Well, Invoker, you're saying I look like Sherlock Holmes. I mean, I appreciate it. It does have the... Oh, so now Doran is just totally okay with it because he gave him back his power? Ah, that's a little weird. Now she's against him. I don't... Her character goes from being like, I like what she says, and then I don't like what she says, and then I like what she says, and then I don't like what she says. What? What? But I always thought you looked like Bombadil. Oh, thanks, man. That's a compliment. Bombadil. See, the thing with Tom Bombadil is he needs to smile a lot. You'd be a fit for the cast. Oh, thanks, man. So now... Why is he being so mean about it? What's gotten into him? I don't know. Why is he getting like... So no Tom Bombadil at all in this episode, huh? Is that what we're getting? I was kind of looking forward to some Tom Bombadil. Orcs snarling and growling. Sinister music playing. Zachary. I was just more happy they were. Yeah. Alright, we got some orcs. Looking at Aragian. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright, so Elrond gets all the way back to Linden after running. Why will it not be? We got some crazy looking orcs. I still think the orcs makeup job stuff look good though. I see it one thing like they did with the makeup crew and stuff, like they did a good job. I permit her to look grumpy here. Why didn't she look grumpy? Where'd you get that little tiny stick? Because I'm the made-up character who hates Sauron. All right. Music's pretty awesome, and music here. So the beginning of this episode was really good. I'm not gonna like you can't sugarcoat that the beginning of the episode was really good. The first like 20 minutes, and then there's a couple spots that are good in the middle, but then they start really again going into their fan fiction and they get off the lore again. It's way too. I think what we talked about was true. It's way too condensed. The timeline is so condensed. It's like, why is it that condensed, right? So I kind of nailed it that Dee was going to find the Balrog, right? I saw that coming from a mile away. The fact that they know that the Balrog is there, so don't dig. That never happened in the lore. There's so many problems with things like that because they're like, oh, this will be more dramatic for our fan fiction version of the Rings of Power Amazon, right? And it's like, well, but if you do that, then it makes the dwarves look more like they were just horrible, blah, blah, blah. They dug so deep, and they even knew the Balrog was there, and then they got everyone killed, right? That kind of thing. Is that Pharazôn guy a Nazgul? Well, I guess I don't think he's a Nazgul in the original lore at all. I'm pretty sure he dies in a certain way. Later, not to give you spoilers, but he does. So no, he wouldn't be a Nazgul unless, of course, in their version they change that. If anyone has any more questions for me, I can answer right now. And then I'll be making a review video of this episode in the next week or two. My first review video is ready to go, which I will release. Maybe I'll just release it after this stream, so you guys can watch it if you want to see it. If you have that much energy to watch. And then I'll be doing another stream, though, with LOTRO in a couple hours. So, but, yeah, so again, I went into this whole episode being kind of like, fan fiction, right? And this one was way more fun to watch, right? As something that's not really like, if I was just going to say it's just a fantasy, right? Just like, let's not even talk about Tolkien's canon for a second. Just as a fantasy show, this one was a lot more enjoyable to watch, at least. It still felt weird after about midway. It felt like the timing started getting weird. I liked it that Celebrimbor at first was like kind of like not being deceived and stuff, and then it didn't really feel very impactful. And the way he just suddenly is like, Sauron's right? Like I don't know. It didn't feel like he got his mind changed. Does that make sense? I felt that was really weird a little bit to me. It was like, just like, boom, like time has passed. It's been 4 weeks and Sauron's been whispering his ear for 4 weeks. I didn't say that, but that's what it felt like with how he changed, right? And then he's like doing like those shaky hands, like, oh, I don't know if Celebrimbor would ever do that as a character. Now, again, their Celebrimbor is different than the original lore. I get it. I'm a little bummed that kid just stabbed the other kid. Right, both made up characters in Numenor. I would have liked to see Elendil grab the sword and stab the other kid and kill him, and then get put in jail because of that. That would have been a nice little thing there. Maybe they didn't want to show that. I don't know. Whatever. And then another thing, I'm just looking through the little thumbnails here, the timestamps. I liked it that they had the 7 dwarven clans, like, representatives show up and they all have different looks. This was the issue I had with season 1, right? There's no issue with the dwarven, like, this whole, like, everyone looking different in Khazad-dûm if we kind of know that other clans are there, right? And that's kind of what they show with the dwarven clans. They all have, different looks and stuff. And that's totally makes complete sense on what Tolkien said. Tolkien doesn't give us all the details of what all the other clans look like. We really just know about Durin's clan. Durin's clan, we know what they look like. We know kind of have the gist of their features. We would know exactly what they look like, right? They would all look in a certain way that Tolkien described them. But there are other clans, which Lord of the Rings Online, the MMO, does a really good job of legends, going into the Zelruka clan and the Tamari clan, which are a southern clan and an eastern clan. And, we know that there's the Iron, or the Ironfoots and the Broadsbeams that Tolkien names the other clans. So this idea that they showed the clans finally was like, thank you! Halfway through the second season, that should have been the beginning of the first season, because it would have helped so many reasons. That's what I argued in the first season for them to do. But anyway, I'm glad that they did that. it's like dollar short or whatever, day late, whatever the term is. But they did do it. And then this idea that Elendil is just some captain that's like joining. I'm glad they're showing the faithful and the Kingsmen, but in Numenor. But again, everything's so condensed. And this idea that the Balrog, guys, the Balrog doesn't destroy Khazad-dûm for 3,000 years after Eregion falls. So if Khazad-dûm falls in the next few episodes from the Balrog at the same time as Eregion, we have major dimensional time drifts happening in the world of Middle-earth in their fanfiction version. It's like, and then we have Numenor, and if he goes and like sails to try to get his immortality at Farazan too, we're just crushing timelines together, right? We have the Egyptian Empire, the Roman Empire. We have, America's around. And, also at the same time, we have the Babylonian Empire, and they're all together now. Boom! Sorry, I'm talking about real history, but just like all of them, thousands of years history, all happened in the same 20 years, guys. Who would have guessed? So again, I know it's a fiction, right? But at the same time, Tolkien has laid that timeline down. Be respectful to the original writer, to at least an extent. I get it. They're doing their own thing with a lot of the fan fiction, but be respectful, right? To the least some of it with the lore. Again, that's why so much of it to me is a fan fiction. And one of my devices has been playing background music just ever so quietly of my Dwarven theme song this whole time. And I keep hearing it. And I'm not sure what is echoing the sound because I have everything off. You guys, I don't think should be able to hear it, which is good. Because I only have my mic as an audio signal. But I just slightly hear this background music the whole time. It's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, the way they convinced him was a little dumb. I agree, Zachary. It was, yeah. Because of the lake. Actually, there were theories is going around that she found the Watcher, not the Balrog. Because of the lake. Oh, well. I mean, that would be interesting. Though, I feel like the Watcher actually... I feel the Watcher moves in the original lore after the dwarves are gone. But I guess that's not like the huge stretch that it might already be down there or something. That's an interesting theory. I as much as I think that theory is really cool, and I would wish that was the case, I bet you it's the Balrog. Wouldn't know. You're way more hyped for a review than the actual episode. Oh, well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I will do my best to do the reviews. And again, I just did just now. I will say things that I get frustrated about, but I'm not gonna just go whole at everything because I just don't enjoy doing that. I want to break it apart in a way that everyone can enjoy and follow and listen to me talk without being like, okay, this guy is going, major rage boss here. Not everybody, we don't want to be stressed out, right? But at the same time, I am frustrated. I want to tell you guys, my feelings on what frustrates me, right? As a really big Tolkien fan. And I know there's some people who probably like it, so I don't want to make some people upset, oh, it really is that bad? It's like, yeah, to the original lore, but if you enjoy the fan fiction, enjoy yourself, I guess. But it just and again, for me personally, as a big Tolkien fan, it's what it could have been is what really bothers me the most, right? Because I rooted for them. I wanted it to be good, right? It's not as my personal fan, I cannot speak for everybody, right? But me as a fan, I wanted them to really succeed in these episodes, right? There's some spots that are good, sure. But as a whole, I wanted it to be amazing. And I'm rooting for them because I want them to do a good job, right? And I'm really, really rooting for them, right? Sure, there were people right off the bat who were, and I criticized a little bit of this, but people who were oh, it's going to be bad no matter what. Blah, blah, blah. Look who's making it. And it's I can understand the logic behind that sometimes. But at the same time, I was rooting for them. And I was like, stop trying to jinx it, right? They succeeded in the jinx. Not that that's a real thing in my mind. But it's like I want them to succeed. I want it to be good, right? Because I can see the potential as a lore fan, which of course everyone else can too, right? But that bothered me a lot when people were saying stuff constantly before we had even seen it, because it was like, you guys are gonna jinx it. But they, I mean, self-fulfilling prophecy. A lot of those people were correct in a lot of their assessments, right? And again, deep down, I had the same worries. Right? I wasn't blind to it. I knew there were some big worries on things we were hearing and who was doing this and that. I'm going, that's a little worrisome, right? But and then but again, as a fan, I was rooting for him. I really wanted to be really good for everybody, right? And and I gave him the benefit of the doubt with so many things, and it's just like, ugh. And the thing is, the first 2 episodes of season 2 I actually was enjoying. Episode 3 was like, this is getting a little boring. Episode 4 was just like, I was so disappointed with episode 4. The beginning of this episode, I got my hopes up just a little bit. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then partway through, it's kind of like, the pacing, they're condensing timelines. I don't really like how they did this made-up part. Blah, blah, blah. Again, I'll do this in a review of everything, right? Over the time. But, 20 years is generous. I think the whole show and all seasons happened in like 1 year. Yeah, it does feel like they're doing that. That they're condensing everything into they're condensing literally thousands of years of time and lore from the canon into like a year to 5 years maybe. I don't know. It's just like, it did not all happen like this fast, right? And the reason why Tolkien has these gaps of time is he wants to be realistic to an extent in his fantasy, right? As a fantasy writer, you can do whatever you want. You can do anything you want, but you have to kind of be like realistic into the extent that it's believable, right? To us as like real life. Like what happens with empires? Well, they have a big issue, right? Something happens, right? And then they're good for a couple hundred years, right? And then something happens, right? And 100 years is a lot, even in our world. But in Middle-earth, things seem to be longer, right? Tolkien always kind of says that the elves, thousands of years. And this big problem happens, and thousands of years, right? So it's obviously more extended in his lore compared to our world with, like, ups and downs of good times and bad times, right? In society and the world. But you kind of get my point, though. It just feels weird condensing all of it so extremely. The original used the word lore. I'm talking about lore as in like the canon from Tolkien. So I'll explain it real quick. So there's this is how I look at Tolkien's world, okay? Personally, for my own thing. There are so lore or canon, right? The lore is like the information, right? I'll just explain the word for anyone who might need it. Lore is kind of like the story, the original like information and knowledge of that story. That's kind of lore. Like a lore master is someone who like really studies books a lot and knows all of the background information and stuff like that. You could probably Google the word lore for the exact definition if you want. But anyway, lore, a lot of times when I'm using the word lore, L-O-R-E, is I'm talking about like canon, right? Which is a little bit interchangeable, but not totally. Canon is like the information that is in stone, solid. This is how the story went because the writer wrote it. And usually canon, I only ever give the rights to canon to the original people who made the story, right? So for example, in Star Wars, original hard canon for me would be from, George Lucas. But I know that things get changed when the rights get sold, right? So he sold off the rights. So now there's like new canon, right? But the problem with that is what happens with the with Star Wars is that basically original canon that got changed by the new owners got put into their legends, as they call it. Okay. And then, there's like fan fictions, right? But for me with Lord of the Rings, I put it into this box. Okay, guys, this is how I kind of like adjust it. Canon has to do with anything that Tolkien or his son did with his notes, right? That is like in stone solid. That is not changeable, right? That is the original. Then there's legends, to me, is anything additions that respects Tolkien and makes sense. There's an occasional thing in Rings of Power here and there that could be legends, but there's almost none. Okay? Fan fiction to me can be good or bad, and it's basically things that maybe don't fully fit in, or it's just kind of fun, or it's like a location that's named correctly and a character's named correctly, but the story's completely different, right? It's like a fan fiction. It's like an alternate reality, right? That's what I feel like with Rings of Power, personally. It's like an alternate reality, right? And I don't myself feel like it's a better one, but you get my point. That's the point. So that's what I usually use those as the thing. The only little bit of difference, I guess, from the Star Wars franchise is the fact that canon being the main story plot that's official by whoever owns it has been changed after George Lucas sold it, right? So that's why some of the original stuff that people would consider original canon is now in the Legends category by, like, you know, Disney or whatever. But I like to use those terms as in canon never changes when it comes to my talking about Tolkien. That's Tolkien and Christopher Tolkien. They're the ones that made the original canon. Some of his notes, if he said it was canon in his notes, some notes are just passerbys, and he never said they were canon for his story, right? But they would still be more official than anything else if they were his notes. And then legends would be extra things. So anyway, that's kind of how I think about that and everything. What's up, Dreadman? What's up? I like how it just said red droopy face for right here, even though I could see the icons in the emote. I had high hopes when I heard most expensive TV show ever made. Yeah, exactly. I agree. I also had that, but I was also worried because of the people who were making it. I had no prior knowledge of when they were coming out to make the Amazon series originally with season 1. So those were my worries. Also, I should probably stop the timer since we're not watching that anymore. Just like turn that off. So yeah, that's a little bit. Just for perspective, the original trilogy cost $281 million. Yes, this is true. What was the Rings of Power they put into it? Put in like the 500 million just for the first season or something. The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, the Sabers of Power. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's all we need. Well, anyway, so that's how I kind of think through things like that. But again, my review, would you guys like, I will, right after this stream right now, I think I'll go ahead and post my review of the first episode. I have to do a little bit editing on it, just for some timestamps and stuff. But I'll go ahead and just get it out, I think, because the whole rest of the weekend we're doing streams. So I don't even know where else I'll drop the video, like for you guys to watch. So unless I wait till Monday, but I'd rather get it out earlier because I'm going to start making the next ones too, for that. So, and I'm doing that for the people who want it, because I don't know if I really would do it if I didn't know that I had, several hundred subscribers who want that, my breakdown of the Rings of Power, because, I'm probably going to get more backlash from certain comments, which I will just ignore. But more than anything else, right? But I don't know. I think my reviews are pretty darn fair for the Rings of Power in general. So I think that most people will enjoy it. Sorry. You're good. You're like, I was just being fatigued. That's fine. No worries. It's good. Other people will know it if they watch it later as a video. If you guys watch this as a video too later, thanks so much for joining us. Thank you guys for being here live. Thank you to my Patrons for their support. Don't worry. We're going to go play some LOTRO after this later today. Do some real Legends gameplay. Cleanse the palate. You're not just... Thank you, Zachary. I appreciate it. He says you're not just being a hater. You voice reasonable concerns. Yes. And that's the thing. I want to be a voice, my channel, right? I do voiceovers in Lord of the Rings Online. I want to be a voice for Tolkien. I will, the voices of the rings. No, just kidding. Not those voices. They shouldn't have those voices. Only the one ring. But yeah, my point is I want people to look at it and be able to see why people were frustrated, right? With everyone that's frustrated. I'd like to be someone who, for someone maybe who comes to watch my channel that's like, why are so many people angry about it? Why are they frustrated? A lot of times you can't really, as someone outside of understanding the frustration, understand why someone's really, really upset unless someone else kind of in the middle explains it, which is what I'm trying to do. Why Tolkien fans are frustrated in so many ways and so many words, right? Because again, as someone who's frustrated to an extent, I watch someone who's maybe a little bit in rage or frustrated about it, and I understand their frustrations, right? I do notice a lot of times when people get frustrated about something, they missay things. Like, for example, let's say one example here. And again, a lot of people just didn't realize this. A lot of people were like so upset about the orc family thing. And by the way, I agree it was stupid how the Amazon did it, okay? Stop pitying the orcs. The orcs are freaking evil. Tolkien makes it very clear that they delight in their evil. They are the pinnacle of evil, okay? Orcs are very evil. But a lot of people were taking it too far. They were so frustrated with the part that they were saying things on social media and stuff like, I saw some of them. They were like, you know, orcs don't even have babies. Orcs don't have families. They're just war machines. They're just born out of mud. Why? This is horrible, right? And they're getting all angry about it. It's like, no, guys, they do reproduce and do have babies. That is Tolkien canon. He said that. Okay, so a lot of people were just ignorant because, and I know why they were, all right? And again, I might cover this in a video. It was because in Peter Jackson's, we get them getting birthed out of the birthing pits, right? In the movies. And I think a lot of people, that's, you know, canon to an extent, right, in their mind, which, by the way, that does happen in the lore. But we also know Gandalf says in the movies that he's breeding goblin men and blah, blah, blah in the, you know, in the pits of... So we also know they were doing breeding programs to make Uruk-hai. It wasn't just mud pits. And we know there's half goblins, half orcs, goblin men. We're not going to even go into why that's horrible. But Tolkien does make some comments about that stuff too. So anyway, the point is, that is something. But the idea that the orc dad is like protecting the family, gross. Not okay. The Lord of the Rings Online is a much better version of that. The orc women kind of like take the children away from the orc males, more like animals would, because they would kill them. And yeah, that makes sense, right? If we look at some animals in the animal kingdom in real life, if we're going to compare a fantasy to an animal, right? Like the lions, usually the moms take away the cubs because the dad lion will kill it, right? They're just kind of like, you know what I mean? They're animals. That's kind of what the orcs are. So they're humanizing the orcs in Amazon series, and that's stupid. Okay, that's where everyone's angry, and that's correct to be angry about that because that is not what Tolkien said. He definitely makes a few comments that might be taken out of context by the writers of the show. But it's, yeah. So anyway, my point of that whole spiel just now was to say that some people on the side that are frustrated, rightfully so, are going overboard and making assumptions themselves now, right? Without looking into the lore. So that happens, right? Everyone, that happens. That's what happens with opinions. What's up, Reed? Hope I'm not late. Well, I mean, we are at the end now of our little watching party here, but if you want to go back and rewatch it when it comes out as a video, you can use the link and watch it with us and see my reactions if you'd like. Oh, is the Lord of the Rings Online fun? Yes, it's very fun. Yep, we call it LOTRO. I've never played an MMO like that. Yeah, I really enjoy it, right? It's not going to be for everyone. Not everybody's into classic MMOs. It's obviously, I think the game looks amazing still, but obviously it's not designed to look like the newest graphics in the world, right? Because it's older. But I still think I love the graphics. I think they hold up to today from their art stylish graphics. Obviously, they're not supposed to look real, right? It's an art style. But yeah. It's all right. Sorry, Reed with me. Yeah, but read with me. I will be doing another stream in 2.5 hours. So if you'd like to come back, and we'll be doing some LOTRO, we're doing some battling with the kinship. You guys can come check it out if you have time. But anyway, I think I'm probably chatted here enough. So again, I have my review of the first episode of Rings of Power with my introduction on how I'm going to approach reviewing the Rings of Power episodes. Again, hopefully my way I review it, I try to be, again, really fair and balanced, but again, as a Tolkien fan, I'm really going to have to stick up for what I think with Tolkien, with the lore, to an extent. But I also tell you what I like, the fan fiction, what they make up too, and what I dislike. And I will talk to you guys about that and cover that all in those episodes. So I will try to get that ready, and I'm going to try to release that in like 30 minutes, that episode. So if you guys have the energy, what's up, Ragson? Hello, welcome. So again, I will get that ready, and I will release that for you guys, the first one. And then, yes, I will make more reviews, and they will not be as long as the first one. The first one is quite a bit because I have about 30 minutes of introduction, and I will put a timestamp if you want to skip it. But talking about how I'm going to review the episodes and stuff. And yeah. What's your opinion on the idea of everyone seems evil in episode 5? Everyone seems evil. Oh, like how the rings are corrupting everybody? Yeah, so I kind of talked about it a little bit right now on our stream, but I don't like how all the rings are somehow all like the one ring now. Okay? So I already criticized quite a lot, even though again, I think I'm overly fair to the Rings of Power as a big Tolkien fan. But I criticized a lot with the Mithril story and how it was made. Which is all made up for Rings of Power. It's all fan fiction. I think it's terrible. There's a lot of reasons I don't like it. I explained that in my review, by the way, that I'm going to release in 30 minutes or so, the video. But that's how I kind of do a little recap of season 1 and why into season 2 as well. Yeah, I don't really. There were definitely some good people in this episode still. But, are you just talking about how the rings are corrupting everybody? Yeah, so I don't like how all the rings are, like, all having voices of Sauron. And, like, I think their idea is either they want to show, like, the unseen world through that idea, or they want to show. I think it's just that they have the essence in them, and Sauron corrupted it, so now they're, like, voices. Yeah, I don't really like that personally myself. But, anyway, with that, my friends, have a great and wonderful day in Middle-earth. I'll be back in less than 2 hours. The sound in the cave causes doom is the Balrog or the Watcher in the water. Yeah, my money is it's all the Balrog. I don't think they're going to do the Watcher in the water. It'd be really interesting if they did that. I feel like they shouldn't do the Balrog, though. So hopefully it'd be better if it was the Watcher in the water. But I feel like, I don't know. It's kind of like with the Stranger. They're hinting it's Gandalf, and it's probably Gandalf. But I'd really, really love it if it wasn't and it was the Blue Wizards. That would be a big plus. You gonna check out my noob guides? I have a whole playlist called 101 for Dummies. It's a joke, though, obviously, off the name. If the combat works... yeah. If you're going to play, too, Lola, make sure you play on the server CrickHollow. That's the server we all play on. So when you first make your new character. So, Ragson, you can, if you don't want to, like, do it yourself, you could watch my reviews if you'd like. I'm going to put out the first review right now. After this video, I've done it already. But, there's a lot of stuff. I'm just disappointed in Tom Bombadil. And also, we didn't see Tom Bombadil in this episode. So, which maybe is a good thing, but I don't know. Just the fact that they put Tom Bombadil's song, like, in the credits without him singing it bothered me. Also, he's not smiling, like, ever. Like, just smile, Bombadil. Just a little bit more smiles would be nice. I knew it. I had a feeling they were going to make him Serious Tom. We don't want Serious Tom. We want Happy Tom. It's only offensive if you're a Tolkien fan. I don't know, Elvin. I feel like it might even if you're not a Tolkien fan. Just kidding. Ever I said, I'm a fan. Blue Wizard. Oh, on evil one good. I'd be curious. There is an old thing where Tolkien kind of made a comment in one of his notes that one of the Blue Wizards was bad, and then he changed that later in his own canon that they were both good. So maybe that's what they're going off, but that would be kind of weird if they were using a note. I don't think they have the rights to that anyway. It's not Game of Thrones yet. That's one positive, actually, Elbin. Good job. Elbin found a positive point. He's like, no, I didn't. There's no inappropriate stuff in it. They better not add it, though. There better not be some weird thing. It's going to be 10% from the books, but 10% better than one. Yeah, rated me. I mean, yeah, it's got like maybe... I don't know how you'd calculate the percent. I mean, maybe screen time. Like, screen time that's lore accurate to Tolkien's lore. Maybe it's like 10%, which is really, really too low. It should be inverted. 90% should be the original. 10% should be made up. That's what they should have done. But again, Yes, thank you for joining the whole time, Lol. I appreciate it. Elvin's sure they're going to go for the Galadriel Sauron romance thing. Oh, gosh. That would be really bad. All I know is that the actor for Galadriel apparently made a comment that there's a surprise kiss, and I'm like, oh no. Just don't be Elrond. Can't be Elrond, so must be Sauron. I'm just kidding. It'd be horrible if it's Sauron for so many reasons, and it would be horrible for Elrond. For Sauron, he is evil. He does not want her to be his queen in the original lore, so that's so creepy that they added that at all. And then, Elrond marries Galadriel's daughter later, so there's a lot of reasons why that wouldn't be okay either. 10%, no! Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, exactly, Zachary. I mean, that's how it's always been, and that's how it should be, right? 90% is respectful to the material, and 10% was for the cinema, cinematics, because you couldn't do everything that was written in a book always, depending on your limitations. And really, that's how it should be. And I think I notice a movement in the last 2 or 3 years that it's being pushed back towards that. Like producers and new people coming into the scene are starting to kind of go, maybe we should stop doing what we've been doing the last 8 years, where people keep getting frustrated at us, right? It's like maybe that's the case. It feels like sometimes they just are hitting their head against a rock and they just keep doing it over and over, and we're like, guys, stop it. The fans don't want this, right? Sure, some people are just gonna absorb whatever media is put out, but it's like we want better. It's like we're not again, the majority of us fans are rooting for them. We want them to succeed. We don't want them to fail. And then they fail, and then we get mad at them, and then they blame it on us for their failure. It's like, stop it! Stop that! No. It's like, we want you to succeed, okay? Amazon Rings of Power, we want you to do a good job. We're not here to just crush you. The only reason we're getting so frustrated is because you were not using the original material that you were given, right? Sure, they don't have rights to everything, but all the stuff they have rights to, they're changing. It's like, stop it! Again, this is why I think this is what disappoints me the most, right? Is that, again, it doesn't affect the original lore, so who cares, right? I'm always going to love Tolkien. It's never going to affect that. Sweet. But it's frustrating because it's like what it could have been, right? And sure, maybe in 10 years someone else gets the rights and they make a really good rendition of the Rings of Power. Maybe that'll happen. Who knows, right? But it's frustrating because if it fails and doesn't do that great, other people aren't going to take it up to do it again, right? Which is why I'm really excited Peter Jackson's going to do The Hunt for Gollum. And apparently The Hunt for Gollum is going to be split into 2 movies, which I'm actually happy about because it just means more probably enjoyable movie to have 2 of them. He's probably I think Peter Jackson likes doing groups of 2, right? Which is what a lot of people thought The Hobbit should have been just 2. Now, I actually think there's a lot of gems in all 3 that you can't condense. And I saw one guy do a fan condensing of the Hobbit books or movies, like a fan cut, and it was good. It was well done. I watched it, but he cut out a lot that was original lore in the second movie that I didn't like that he cut out. It was really it was good stuff. So the idea that he was basically showing, look, you could condense it into 2 movie times and it's fine, or this guy condensed it into 1, and it's like, no, it was better with the 3 times. There's just some stuff here and there that they could have removed, right? So you could have maybe made the movies all a little bit shorter, right, and the 3 of them, and then it would have been good. But I don't think you could have taken out the 3rd, in my mind, my enjoyment, and that had real lore, and then been able to condense them into the other 2. It would have been, you would have taken out more of the actual lore book stuff that they did in the end. It's so funny, like, some people really didn't like the part where Bomber is, like, bouncing on the river, they're going down the river, and it's funny, because, like, I get it, because it's nothing to do with lore, it's, like, insanely silly, but I loved it. Maybe it's because at the time I was, in high school or whatever, and I just really liked it, and I enjoyed it because of that. But I don't know, I really had fun with that part. It was just fun to watch. And sure, that doesn't happen in the book at all, right? They just get to the bottom of the river. That's it. They're out. But it's hilarious. So, but I get why some people are like, that's what they don't like, and I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I liked it, but that's fair. I can understand why people wouldn't like that. Monetizer attract new audiences. I know, Zachary, but that's the funny thing. It's like they want to find new audiences, right? And they forget their successful fan base. Exactly, yeah. But it's like, don't you want to like do it in a way that you want the original fan base to like it and then also get a new audience? Because I don't think The Rings of Power has really probably garnered that big of a new audience. Like, I feel like they're looking for an audience that doesn't exist. Like, in how they're doing it, right? Like, I don't see younger, kids, right? Like, being super into Rings of Power. I don't see anyone older, that's really into Rings of Power. I don't see anyone that's kind of in, like, middle-aged, really being super into Rings of Power. And then people like, me, be on the younger side. I don't see a lot of the generation right before me and after me and mine really being super into it. And I have a lot of friends of all ages. I don't ever think about age, right? Age is dumb, right? It's like we can all be friends no matter our age. I have friends who are 94 years old, who I'm in an orchestra with. They're amazing. We go out to lunch. It's a blast. And then I have my students I teach who are really young. I have friends that are younger than me, older than me, all different, way down all the way up into the 90s and 100s. I just don't care about that stuff. But I don't see a whole lot of audience for it. So it's just weird to me that they keep, like, they're like looking for this, they're shooting for this target audience that I feel like doesn't really exist, or it's like this tiny, tiny group that's not going to help a giant movie, right? You're shooting at a group that's maybe a few 100,000 people, where in reality you need to be shooting at a group that covers several million, right? To really have a successful chunk of that percentage of that, whatever that group is, right? Because if you shoot at someone that's a couple 100,000, you're only going to get like 30 or 40,000 out of a couple 100,000, right? Same thing if you shoot for a million people audience, you're only going to get like a couple 100,000, right? Out of that group of people. So you have to like, I don't know. It's just basic advertising. I don't know, guys. I'm just like, I'm not an expert at this, but it's like common sense advertising here, right? You said I'm upset with Numenor and wonder how those bad guys gonna save Middle Earth from the creepy Sauron. Yeah, exactly. It'll be good to have it. I don't know why Elendil is just some random captain. That still bothers me too. Yeah, how are they gonna get Sauron captivity? I don't even know if they're gonna get Sauron in captivity. I don't know. That might just be totally changed right with me. I'm not sure. Well, you like the 3 Hobbit movies? Yeah, they have different tone than the Lord of the Rings. Sure, but I really enjoyed the comical approach. It was a kid's book after all. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the whole part where he's bouncing Bomber, I know that's all made up in some of the book, but they took a lot of the kid stuff out. So the fact that they put that back in made me enjoy it. Like, I kind of was disappointed they kind of took a lot of the instruments out. Except for they had great songs in The Hobbit still, but they took a lot of their like traveling instruments away, which just seemed kind of like a kid's book, that their instruments are always with them for what they were doing. So yeah. So you're saying Elbin says there's a drop of about 60% from the first season, so they failed the modern audience too. Yeah, so I guess the stuff they were aiming for, see. So what I'm saying is, Elbin's backing up with a pull he sees. Okay, thank you. Yeah, exactly. So whatever they're shooting for, they're missing the mark, big time. So, don't you want to do it? Make a classic that is timeless? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why they don't want to make a classic. It's just, and it's weird to me too. People I feel like should be thinking more like Peter Jackson was thinking to make it, for Tolkien and to make it something that would be enjoyable no matter what the time period is. A lot of times I feel like these new TV shows and movies are aiming for a certain time period and like they just don't hold up later, right? Like I've seen some of them. Some of them were fine back in the day, right? From like 2000s and stuff when I was really little, but they just don't hold up now, right? But like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, it holds up great. And now with they redid the visuals with the film cells. Oh my gosh, the Ultra 4K is no gimmick. If you have a TV and something that you can watch it on with a player, those Ultra 4K discs are amazing for the extended edition. Yeah, exactly, Zachary. Yeah, I don't really understand why. Like, I feel like, though, as much as we were complaining about this, I do feel like there's a little bit of a change happening because of the majority is kind of like, can you stop with all of the movie and TV industry? That they're kind of like losing money and they're starting to go, maybe we should try to go back to like making stuff that everybody wants to watch, the majority, right? It doesn't mean they can't make an occasional movie or TV show here and there for a group of, as in the population, not talking about a certain group, but just a population in general, a minority opinion. It doesn't mean they can't make a movie or TV show like that, but like stop making all of them about that, right? Make some that are more broad. The majority of people want to watch of all different cultures and backgrounds, right? That's like of some relatable story that everyone can relate to, right? That's what needs to happen, I think, a little bit more in story making. Hello, Andrew. How's it going, my friend? General Kenobi. Rexon. Nielsen TV ratings. Oh, okay. Activities activates lightsaber. You guys, that's so funny. General Kenobi. Hello there. What are the rules to join the Kinship and LOTRO? That's a good question. Respectful, right? That kind of stuff. Really, just you need to be on the server CrickHollow. You're welcome to join us. There's a little bit of a waiting period when you get on. I have a guide video on it. You just need to add a note to your name so we know who you are. This is your main character. What's your name in YouTube or Discord? You could put a little tag on your character in the Kinship panel. It's really easy to do. I have a little guide video on it if you need it. We have that on Discord, that information too. But that's about it. And then, just be respectful. We have a Kinship chest. You can, use some stuff in it, add stuff to it, things like that for resources. Don't just take it and sell it, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But feel free to join us. Again, I highly recommend, if you're not in our Discord, join that real quick. I highly recommend it. And I even have a guide video on the blogs here if you are someone who really enjoys, want to be in the Discord, but you don't want to get spammed by too many channels. I show you how to mute them if you don't know how. You can mute all the channels and just have like my announcement channel up so you just know when an event's happening or something. Or a new video or something. But good. Hopefully that answers the question. But you just need to be on the server CrickHollow. Read with me if you're going to play LOTRO with us. I also feel like they make a lot of movies too perfect today to make it good for 4K and such. Yeah, but the problem is that feel very fake, grimy and dirty in the real world. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Sometimes that old cinema style of like just their old like ways to give like effects and stuff sometimes worked really well because of how they were made. Just sent you a snip from an article. Okay. Let's see. I don't think I have my Discord on. Ba-dum-bum-ba-da-bum. Let's see real quick. And then I'm going to go and edit this other video here. All right. So we have The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Season 2 doesn't appear to be off to the best start. I wonder why. According to the data from Saba TV, 902,000 U.S. households tuned in for the premiere episode within 4 days of its debut. 4 days? That's not a lot for a. It's literally, that's funny that you bring this up, Alvin, because like obviously you're listening to me talk, but it's literally what I was saying, right? I was just guessing, but this is what I was saying. It's like they shot for an audience size and they're only getting the small percent, which is what normal in marketing, right? You market to 5 million people and you expect to get maybe 100,000 sales, and that would be insanely good, right? It's same thing with a TV show or movie, right? If you market to 100 people, you're probably going to get like 5 people to join in. If you market to 1 million people, you might get 100,000. That would be, that's a lot better, right? See, which is down quite significantly from the first season. Well, the thing is, a lot of people saw the first season and were like, okay, this is a fan fiction. How are they going to, this isn't the original lore, right? How are they going to do it for the Tolkien fans, right? So that's what the Tolkien fans are thinking. They're like, well, this is frustrating. It's not respectful of the lore. We're just not going to watch. And then other people who probably didn't really care about the lore, unfortunately, with the first season, there's a lot of pacing issues and stuff. So if you watch it just without even thinking about Lord of the Rings, it feels very different from the Peter Jackson trilogies because they are paced so well. And then, even in that, there's a little bit of like disconnects here and there with the storytelling, I notice. There's like some loopholes and stuff in season 1. Even like storytelling just with the made-up fan fiction version, not the original canon from Tolkien. So I think that's a lot of stuff that probably really hurt it early on. Which is why, I'm glad that, they got to try a second season, but I'm a little bit disappointed. I was hoping they kind of learned from their mistakes to an extent. And it feels like it in the first episode that it's like, oh, this is pretty good. And then, meh. In fact, it's half the audience of the first episode of season 1 drew in less time. Oh, that's not so good. Within 3 days of viewing, 1.8 million U.S. households had watched the first episode. I mean, it's not a terrible number, but I bet you a good chunk of those people were the people watching it a day or two later, like me, who just kind of wanted to review it and see, is there any hope for their fan fiction? So yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah. So there's a 60% drop. Yeah, that's a big drop. But again, we're gonna be able to obviously see the end of this season at least. Ouch. Yeah, yeah. And it's like, I kind of understand why to an extent with a lot of stuff, right? But then again, as a fan, I was rooting for him. It's like, come on, you guys can make it good, right? And then it's just like the stuff they keep doing. It's like, you're dashing my hopes. All right. Well, my friends, anyway, I'm going to release my review video, which will be, let's see here. This is I haven't done the thumbnail yet or anything, but I finished the let's see here. Oh, well, maybe I can't. I might not be able to release the video. Let's see. What is it doing here? Oh, I see. Oh, well, maybe I can just cut this part out and it won't be an issue. It has some thing. Never mind. I might not release it right after this stream. Glad I checked. Don't be looking for it. But I will be back for another stream in 2 hours for LOTRO. All right, my friends. Have a great day, Middle Earth. Again, thank you to my patrons for their support. Join our Discord. If you ever have the means or inklings want to support in that way, I'm doing this full-time now with Lord of the Rings channel. So thank you for liking and subscribing. Guys, we hit 9,000 subscribers. And if you're watching this later, Sunday, we're also having our 9,000 subscriber party. We're going to be doing all sorts of different Lord of the Rings games. We'll be playing Return to Moria, LOTRO, probably Battle for Middle Earth, and some other stuff. So, and we'll be chatting and just talking about fun stuff. It's Lord of the Rings. All right, have a great day. Stay happy, my friends. Barukazat Kuzat, I menu. I will see you in the next stream in a few hours, and have a great and wonderful day in Middle Earth. See you guys soon.